Fashion to Mrs. Sa, what tongue come from? You said the people na ya na sa ya rubo. They said when you Joe what to wa soon.
My nose anka between me kaba.
Ah ma,
we yare the menya no dru, and tin ma me tongue craft for separano.
Any baby say fin ya go. Kwese wa mama ye ma sheme.
Ko fitira, wa yase na ya na ye wo yam. And as a wukunu so ba wo na wo dwane dwane. And a makoti probing kan ye friend no araba basin tablets. So we nim say me de we banana. Enu nti na nam so amakoto se edu abra so je. Nanom
rubber basin bet my way nyina ma me. Eni me huri soft.
Wonyem, wo your batan a wo ma wo ba nufuo. Ana akwada wo ni mfie dumienu a wo nka ho. Araba basin.
And there I see.
Hello?
Oh, she said that sound.
Okay, wait a minute. Why? My wife comes and send a message. You office is going to move. Hello? I didn't know. What's happened?
It's a chunk who's will be a quiet say what? I dare say,
We signed for a fair. I'm so here. My wife is not testing messages here. And the office is so. I'm trying to tell you, she says, I
mean, so we a guy manu, and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Naso, ye be, Frey 0240 333 111 and NASA 0244 144 822.
Miampa and no swimming pool me see. Me want to will be here. Family drilling now. Family drilling.
What fashion yala shit?
Me out with that shit.
Of February 2021. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us here on Pan-African Television. This is the Midday News coming to you live from our studios here at Abilimpi, number 48, Swanika Street. We also stream live on Facebook and across 46 neighboring countries via satellite. My name is Makiza Micheline Latifa. Coming up with the news bulletin this afternoon, and Ghana commemorates 55 years of the illegitimate overthrow of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We'll bring you some insight into the activities of these celebrations. And also, Ghana takes delivery of 600,000 doses of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. And fisher folks at Jamestown are unhappy with slow pace of construction of the new fishing harbour. They say their relocation is affecting fish catch. We've got details of these and many more stories coming up shortly. Please do stay. Our very first story. On Thursday, February 24, 1966, Ghana's first Prime Minister and President Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who had been in office since 1952, was violently toppled in a coup. Our news desk takes an insightful look into the unforgettable episode, which is aptly dubbed Ghana's Day of Shame. Let's watch this documentary.
Your beloved country
is free forever.
Ghana's illustrious leader, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, led Ghana to independence from the British colonialism on March 6, 1957.
To the Gold Coast in December 1947 and brought a new method of organization into the independence struggle, which actually frightened the colonial authorities. This led to he being imprisoned after he had declared positive action, and it enabled him to bring together most of the people of these countries, which culminated in the creation of the modern state of Ghana.
Movements of the government of the Convention's People's Party, led by Nkrumah, were designed to improve the standard of living of the people's Ghana and to delink the national economy from the colonial metropolis. Nkrumah's policies were primarily aimed at integrating Ghana into a union of African states, strong enough to resist imperialist machinations to control the resources of Africa. This was seen by Western governments and their intelligence agencies as a threat to their stronghold on Ghana and Africa.
The plot to overthrow the Nkrumah government was probably hatched long before independence. And the first manifestation of that plot came in 1958, when some police officers and members of the opposition to Nkrumah gathered and organized a coup d'etat, which became known as the T-Junction affair, to designate February 24th every year as Ghana's Day of Shame. This was deliberately done to enable young people, to enable the people of Africa and Ghana to understand the circumstances leading to the overthrow of the Nkrumah government and to learn important lessons from the betrayal of the African people by the opposition to Nkrumah. This was also meant to draw attention to the rapacious nature of imperialism. This was meant also to draw attention to the exploitative nature of imperialism. And this was meant to draw attention to the fact that imperialism will stop at nothing in order to achieve its objectives. It has used blockade, such as the blockade against Cuba. It has used assassinations, such as the assassination of Patrice Lumumba and Salvador Allende. It has used all kinds of methods, including sometimes the forceful overthrow of democratically elected governments in order to achieve its objective.
55 years after the unjustified overthrow of the Nkrumah government, the problems of Africa continue to multiply. Africa's resources continue to be owned by multinational corporations from the metropolitan countries and are exploited largely to improve their balance sheets. Access of the masses to such social services as health, education, and housing continues to decline. The struggle to liberate Ghana and Africa from the clutches of neo-colonial exploitation and domination continues unabated. Join the Socialist Forum of Ghana, SFG, to push the Nkrumahist agenda forward.
Indeed, the 24th of February is Ghana's Day of Shame. We've just watched a documentary put together by the Socialist Forum of Ghana and Pan-African Television. Later on at 5:30 on Wednesday, Palava would have a symposium here at Pan-African Television. It will be graced by Dr. Abdul Nasser Gamil here at Pan-African Television. Comrade Kwesi Pratt Jr. will also be on there as well. So please Keep it logged onto Pan-African Television. But away from that, let's do some stories in relation to COVID-19. And Ghana has taken delivery of 600,000 doses of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines. This is the first consignment of vaccines acquired through the COVID-19 Vaccine Global Access Facility, COVAX. According to arrangements, vaccination will be conducted in phases. The first batch to be vaccinated includes health workers, adults 60 years and above, persons with underlying health conditions, frontline executive, legislature, judiciary, and their related staff, frontline security personnel, some religious leaders, essential workers, teachers, and other personalities in Greater Accra Metro, including Ewutu Senya and Ewutu Senya East in the Central Region. A similar segmented population in the Greater Kumasi Metro and Obuasi Municipality will also be covered. From 2nd March, the vaccines will be deployed to health facilities and designated centers in the country. We will be speaking with Dr. Thomas Anaba, who is the Executive Director for African Center for Health and Policy Research Analysis, to give us more insights into how the vaccine is going to, help in the fight against COVID-19 as well. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Dr. Anaba.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Anaba.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Pan-African Television.
Thanks to you and your cherished listeners and viewers.
Okay, so we'd like to find out from you, what must Ghanaians know about the vaccines that have been procured by government to help in the fight against COVID-19?
I didn't hear you right.
So would like to know what Ghanaians must know about the vaccines that have been, received.
Oh, okay, right. Thank you very much. What do you know? I think we should have known it even before it arrived. But since it has arrived, we still have to tell Ghanaians what they should know about it. The vaccine is being manufactured and it has been approved to have efficacy and safety to be injected into human beings to prevent them from acquiring the coronavirus. So Ghanaians should expect that they take the vaccine to prevent them from getting the virus and developing symptoms of the virus. What they need to know is what will happen to one if he injects.
Okay. Hello? Dr. Anaba. Hello, Doc. Okay, it looks like we have lost Dr. Anaba, but we'll try as much as possible to get him back on the line. But let's move away from that story to some other stories. And Minister Designate for Water Resources and Sanitation took a turn before the Appointment Committee of Parliament for vetting. Cecilia Dapa was quizzed on varied subjects, including declaration by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa in his first term.
Only say that he will make Accra the cleanest, he would want to make Accra the cleanest city. He said the whole country needs to be clean. And I think the president must be commended for this bold declaration. It was up to us, the stakeholders and the key players, to do our work. As the Honorable Minister has exhibited, we also do monitoring around. I will not doubt all these pictures. As I speak, our monitors are in the field. And when they come back, we deal with the specific the metropolitan or in Accra, in the big cities, we deal with them. They do have a challenge with solid waste. That is why we need this huge pillar of sanitation authority to help strategize and direct affairs, especially in the business, central business districts, the CBDs. They do have a huge problem. And then one area that we have identified is that they don't even work on Sundays, those who hold the franchise. We are still negotiating with them. I must pay tribute to the contractors who, through their association, have gotten some of these contracts to up their game, and we mean to also emphasize our monitoring declaration. I think, like I said, I want to reiterate and emphasize that it's a very bold declaration, and we need all of us. The motto is keep Ghana clean, and the answer is play your part. You know, these are the areas that we need to emphasize and send logistics to, and we are not oblivious of that.
It was said that within 1 year you were going to clean Accra city. Yeah, you said that within the first term, Accra was going to be the cleanest city. 4 years has gone and that project hasn't even started.
Mr. Chairman, I believe we are talking at cross purposes. This project was to augment what we've done so far.
Okay, so then
On the Odo Basin, yes.
Can I just find out, averagely, since you went to the ministry the past 2 years, about how much do you think has been spent in making effort to get Accra clean?
Mr. Chairman, I can't give the figure on top of my head. I can get it for you. Thank you.
But I think a substantial amount has gone in there. I'm saying that you think substantial amount has gone into the project of cleaning Accra.
Like I always say, it's not only my ministry taking care of it. There are stakeholders. So we all come together and do the work. Thank you, Mr.
And that was the Minister-designate for Water Resources and Sanitation, Cecilia Dapaah, reaffirming the fact that Accra indeed has been made the cleanest city in Africa. But still on her, she was asked about Galamsey, and Cecilia Dapaah said President Akufo-Addo's war against Galamsey is successful.
The Water Resources Commission, that is in charge of monitoring our water bodies. And since the President's declaration of war on illegal mining, we have a monitoring unit that goes round and submits quarterly reports. I must say that the water quality as of July 2020 was quite good with their turbidity levels. And Mr. Chairman, with your kind permission, if I may cite one or two of them for our consumption. Brim River Sea in Achimda and Osino, for instance, the turbidity used to be 1,590, but it's now 268. And Ankobra, which used to be 4,432, is now 503. And we have the Tano, the Bia, the Pra, and these are the figures we have as at July 2020. We'll be getting the figures for 2020 December and the...
Chairman, I think that the nominee doesn't have the data for River Pra. Is that the case?
But I just asked the Pra. You are interested in the Pra?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the Pra River as seen as Ghana Water has an intake at Daboase. I'll use that as the example. Daboase was 825 NTU in February 2020, but in July it was 434. And Chifu Praso used to be 1,595. It's now 465. So, Mr. Chairman, in essence, the war that the President declared was successful in a way vis-à-vis our water bodies, and we should continue to support the President to fight this war. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Was it successful in improving water quality or successful in fighting Galamsey? What are you communicating?
Both.
That was the Minister Designate for Water Resources and Sanitation saying that the fight against galamsey has been won, but we leave it to viewers to determine whether or not the water bodies we have in the country are indeed clean. But let's still stay on the vetting, where the Appointment Committee of Parliament has vetted the Minister Designate for Transport. The Minister Designate was grilled on varied issues, including terms of engagement of Frontier Health Services and the Terminal 1 contract awarded to Magdan Limited.
In agreement, the Honourable Aviation Minister told Parliament that Terminal 1 has been leased for 15 years to Magdan Shipping Company, and Magdan Shipping Company has entered into an agreement with the United States military. We have been looking for that contract. Have you been briefed on that contract, the Ghana-U.S. Defense Cooperation Agreement, Magdan versus the U.S. military base, Terminal 1? Do you have any briefing on that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have been briefed by Ghana Airport Company that they rented the down floor of Terminal 1 to Magdan Shipping Logistics Company Limited in January 2019.
Please, do you have the contract? Are you able to share with the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a copy of the contract. Later, if you do, I can hand it over to you.
If we are aviation, did you get the contract?
Yes.
Have you gone through?
Mr. Chairman, I've got a copy of the contract. Like I said this afternoon, this evening to you, is that the contract that I have cited is a contract between Ghana Airport Company Limited and Magdan Logistics Services, January 2019, for a 15-year concession period. That is what I know about.
Even though I know you were not the minister then, couldn't you have believed that if Ghana Airport Company Limited had done this transaction directly with the U.S. business, would have fetched the Ghana Airport Company Limited more money than just outsourcing it to a private person?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know when Ghana-U.S. agreement was signed, but I know that Ghana Airport Company and Magdan's agreement was January 2019. I don't know which one preceded the other. But if you ask me, if the Magdan contract preceded the agreement with the Americans, I don't know what the Americans specifically asked for the space, the down floor of Terminal 1. If indeed that is so, then automatically at that time they need to go to Magdan. And my additional information is that they also requested, they were using the base for their field-based operation within the West African sub-region, and they needed a logistics company to do the distribution for them. I'm not saying that the two are one.
The minister was also questioned on the Frontier's healthcare services contract.
September, when the airport was open. I have here the certificate that the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency issued, and it's dated 3rd November 2020. Have you been briefed as to how come the Frontier's healthcare services operated for well over 2 months in violation of Section 11 of the Health Institutions and Facilities Act before they were licensed?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, what I stated or what I tried to state was the role that Ghana Airport Company played so far this concession agreement they have with Frontiers and renting them the space at the airport is concerned. I think that any other thing that they are supposed to do, maybe there are state institutions which are supposed to, maybe the Minister of Health, I don't know why that can happen, but maybe I think that maybe truck driver like me.
Honorable, do you know for a fact that yes, at the time they started, they had, is it HEFRA? Honorable Kujato, is it HEFRA?
Yes, please, HEFRA.
They had the HEFRA registration. Do you know that for a fact or not?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know.
The second law, the Fees and Charges Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2018, Act 983, requires that Ghana Airport Company Limited or the minister in charge of the sector should come to this house. Section 3 of this law is very clear. Before the $150 United States could have been charged. That was not done. Have you received any briefing why this was not done? The Fees and Charges Miscellaneous Provision Act 983, breached.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know. I think that this is a private sector business, and ministries or agencies don't come here to do fees and charges for the private sector.
The question was, have you received any briefing?
No, Mr. Chairman, no. Not.
And those were some happenings in Parliament during the vetting of Transport Minister designate. But let's move away from Parliament and head over to Jamestown, where some fisher folks have expressed concern about what they describe as poor working condition following their relocation to the current fishing site near Asha Fort for the construction of a fishing harbour. According to the fisher folk, the relocation has affected fish catch, thus affecting their socio-economic situations.
Jamestown is the center of economic activities for the indigenes, the Ghanaians who have survived on fishing activities for centuries. For centuries, the indigenes of Jamestown have depended on the main economic activity, making the area one of the major fishing hubs in the country. Conditions at the Jamestown landing beach had deteriorated due to centuries of fishing activities. The area was turned to a den for criminals and other miscreants. To turn the place around and create a viable and sustainable economy at Jamestown, government pulled down the slums with the sole intention of constructing a new fishing harbour for the fisher folk. This led to the relocation of fishing activities to areas around Asha Fort to make way for the construction. Though appreciative of the mood, fisher folk at Jamestown are worried about the delay in completion of the project. According to the fisher folk, their relocation to the areas around Asha Fort has affected fishing activities. According to them, they were promised by authorities that they will be relocated to a better fishing site until the construction of the fishing harbour is completed. This has not been fulfilled. The fisher folk are not happy with the progress of work. Nicole, a fisherman at the fishing site, narrated their ordeal to Pan-African News.
Tumobeno yo nakani be na aba bonni efimo ani wona wole agashi kaji akewote wote kagbina wo ba sa wo ku wo se wo ba una iwo bia ni wo fin wo relax wo kwenu ni baya no ya ge papa pe wo ta wo beni wo yo bia ni living ya no okay shi ena ga wote bia ni wo manage jeme tumobeni nkenye una etomo bia ni mu ona she fin wo bana wo etwi ni wo manage ka shi beni atu wa ke shi aba gbe na ni wo ba ku wo se wo baba any akewote ni wo suggest ake shi won sumo jeme na akewote je wo lenje pe wonye na wodum e ja ke shi nu epene ma libi nta we fite no ona ana kenu jian ke shi noko bibio ku she a costo ona a costo ni at the same time o teje ni o nuchumo ni ya jode e na gba.
Kweku Gate, another fisherman, also bemoaned sanitation and inaccessibility to premix fuel as a major factor that is affecting their business.
And the country is about almost all my economy in you. Young Koyoku, I saw the age more. Young Koyoku, Uncle Fonsu Yoku. They are born coming on my economy. I had to 10 days or champo, young Koyadma, Yoko, Yoku.
Then there's some of issues.
Ya bigi ya won pampa na ya kaka ya ba toilet na din ya which center won't mean so o ka tan ma ya kaka san wa ba a hajo kwa center ne Sese obenye sese yakwenye ukite usika ukotompo umvamo. Se ukotaka connection sana. Omoto 55. Sese uko unye benze ukota 1.2 1.5. Sema uko nkofo omoto kalabuyen. Omoto connection sema uko omocha sana.
They want government to ensure the project is completed early to prevent further decline in their source of livelihood.
One, I said, man, food on any other call. The Okwans when you've been so Puna your quasi saying, and to say first. And the Okwans over to Hannah Gun and 1.5. Yes, we 1.2, no to 4 about one. I know one man away more one on bit. And the food is almost a conform to collection, almost only one could be only one could be no winter collection. Your car, you're seeing it. You're doing okay, man.
No ni pe wo wish oji. No fiano na ame calm afi.
Heard from some fisher folks in Jamestown who are calling on government to complete the project. But let's do some more human interest stories. And about 61% of Ghana's roads are classified as bad. Available data indicates that major road accidents recorded are caused by bad roads. In the second year of what government says is the year of roads, residents of Abofu in the Okaikwe North Municipality are battling with bad roads.
Abofu, a suburb of Okaikwe North Municipality, has been battling with bad road network from years. The stretch from Abelengpe through the underpass leading to Achimota Abofu has been in a bad state for the past 4 years. The road is filled with potholes causing nuisance to drivers who use that stretch. According to the residents and drivers alike, the dusty and bumpy nature of the road is affecting socioeconomic activities, and several attempts to get the Okaikwe North Municipal Assembly to improve the road had fallen on deaf ears.
There be any senior was a near Kucha Quay, a train a bit to 2 years, and 2 years and no essay, you know. Oh, I can't say I check. I check, I say 4 years in here. Say election time beno and I want the and you be good on more. And I say, move Philip, put to Sona, a shadow woman. And on the election, we who will be a cost also be. I need me shadow who means me who says MP now, or do mobile say contractors because almost yeah, I say a children who say, I say, almost yannick, crack, almost yeah. I see, fine. Let me if he say, at least almost the annual goose on Mayor Queenie. And no, no, say who will be.
There have been a lot of changes in the road. At first, there were a lot of potholes on it, but because of the government situation, they have put dust on it. So I think it's okay now, but not that okay. But I didn't see the MP, but I saw the government. I mean the assemblyman. Yeah, he was the one who was in charge, but I don't know of the MP because I did not see him doing anything. It always affects us. As I said, it's because of the dust. It always comes inside there. So you see yourself dirty all the time. And even the dust will be going into your eyes.
Residents say the road has become a political tool for exploitation by politicians who use the road to canvass for votes. Residents accused the assemblyman for the area of deceiving them with grading of the road but stopped work after winning the assembly election.
For the last 4 years, we've not seen any major work on the road. That's why it's so bad. It's just last year that going to the election, the assemblyman of this area used sand to cover the deep holes here, and it's very dusty. And every now and then I have to be cleaning, and sometimes you lose customers. They come and then your staff are very dirty. They don't buy. They feel like maybe you are a dirty guy or something. I don't know, but they won't buy. Sometimes they don't just buy because it's very dusty.
Others are laying the blame at the doorstep of the former member of parliament for the area, Fuseni Issa, attributing his loss to his failure to address the situation. The road stretching in front of the constituency office of the governing New Patriotic Party is in terrible state.
Anytime but ekwani de enyekura but first na portos bebre wanu but afina asa omode enetie sisi portos ni bi but still na de enya ni de enye ekwana sekura nti se omu wo bibi ye fa ho a omu meye bibi fa ho o em say abatu ni mu na omu be ye sade we no but last year na so omu di we ni ba be gugu eso but sisi ane de omu meye bibi amfa ho bi.
For traders along the stretch, the bad nature of the road is affecting business.
Mr. T and the Afimian Sunny. Fitimi by and a quan with Sunny to San at here. Yampina na or soon. Ono na kayadi and yatu in so sasa or bear quan on so one yama. Say, Yatu na friho. Into Fufrona Bani de Yashan and him say or bear quan na my dear. Kwani de futuro ni de higher pa higher enu timpo ma boka akoye glass nso still futuro ni de higher pa de bia na ubowa de bia na yari wa asi.
Residents and drivers of Achumata Abofu are calling on the Okaikwe North Municipal Assembly to fix the road to improve commuting in the area. From Abofu, Akpene Bright, Mayerson, and Marion Akwe's reports for Pan-African Television News.
And that's all we have for you on the local fronts. Business news is up next. Please do stay. World of Business, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, has said the novel coronavirus pandemic has introduced several risks to the banking sector, threatening the growth of the industry.
Speaking at a webinar by the Ghana Association of Bankers, Dr. Addison said cyber, credit and operational risks were no threat to the banking sector, which banks must effectively manage to avoid any unintended consequences on the industry. The program was to create an opportunity for the stakeholders to deliberate on the risks emerging in the financial sector as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and explore policy options and measures to manage them. The governor explained that in spite of the resilience of the banking industry, the aforementioned risks posed a challenge to the banking industry. On cyber risks, Dr. Addison explained that although the pandemic boosted the move towards digital transactions and financial inclusion, it also brought in a heightening sense of cyber attack within the financial sector. Dr. Addison called for an effective cyber risk management policy and procedures by banks to protect them from cyber threat and attacks. He said the bank had issued directives and guidelines, such as the Cybersecurity Directive, that banks must meet on an ongoing basis to effectively manage cyber risks and fraud. Regarding credit risks, Dr. Addison indicated that the sharp slowdown in economic activity had ramifications for the solvency of some households and businesses. He said lenders within sectors strongly hit by the impact of the pandemic, particularly those in industry and services sectors, were more vulnerable.
Now, the BBN Rice Parboilers Cooperative Union in the Upper East region is urging the general public and boarding schools in the country to consume rice grown and processed in Ghana. According to them, local foods, including rice, would enhance economic empowerment and promote good health as it had no dangerous additives.
Madam Gilberta Akuka, the president of the cooperative, speaking on behalf of her colleagues at a deba in Bolgatanga organized by Sokodevi an NGO to present rice stoves to parboilers in its project areas in the Upper East region, said local rice were well processed, had no stones or other foreign materials, and was easy to cook. She said it did not only taste delicious but had a special aroma and full complement of its nutrients. Madam Makuka said they had undergone a series of capacity building training and were presently producing delicious rice suitable for cooking in a rice mill. She said Sokodevi, through its Proceeds project, also taught them to parboil without endangering the environment as well as their health. She explained that the process was so efficient, hygienic, and qualitative. Madam Akuka commented Sukudevi for the support given to them and said it would improve their lives. The BBN cooperative is made up of about 1,409 women drawn from 59 farmer-based organizations in 3 districts in the region, precisely Bogatanga, Boko, and Kaseni Nankana municipality.
Take a look at the interbank CD performance against some of the major trading currencies, and the dollar is buying at 5.750 and selling at 5.756. The pound is buying at 8.108 and selling at 8.117. The euro is buying at 6.991 and selling at 6.998. The naira is also buying at 68.739 and selling at 71.165. And finally, the CFA is buying at 93.725 and selling at 93.824. And this is coming from the Bank of Ghana. But that's how we wrap up in the world of business. International news follows shortly. Highlighting the race among the world's rich countries to buy and store COVID vaccines, the chief of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom, has said that this has undermined the COVAX initiative to provide vaccines to the poorer nations and the world's most vulnerable populations. Tedros alleged that a large number of rich countries approach the producers of the vaccines directly and secure more vaccines doses than required.
Some of these countries have amassed vaccines, which are enough to vaccinate their populations twice over. Due to this, a large number of poor countries have not received a single dose so far, and even the COVAX initiative has been undermined. The COVAX initiative was started last year to facilitate vaccine delivery to all countries, irrespective of their capacity to buy it. However, so far, the initiative has failed to provide any help to the poorer countries due to shortage of vaccines' high prices. Though G7 countries pledged last week to provide $4.3 billion to the initiative, the World Health Organization chief says the money won't be enough because the overall production of the vaccine is limited and whatever is produced is hoarded by the rich countries. He called for a change of their attitude. Tedros Ghebreyesus joined a large number of global diplomats who have expressed similar concerns over vaccine nationalism among rich countries. Speaking at the United Nations Security Council last week, Secretary General Antonio Guterres criticized the rich nations for hoarding vaccines, which has created a situation where 10 have administered 75% of all global vaccine doses, while 130 have not yet received a single dose. Last week, the newly elected chief of World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, speaking to Reuters, had warned against, quote, vaccine nationalism, unquote, among the rich countries, saying that, quote, no one is safe until everyone is safe, unquote, and if other countries are not immunized, it will be a blowback to the world. So far, the United States has administered the largest number of vaccines, followed by China and the European Union. Israel and United Arab Emirates have vaccinated the highest percentage of their populations, with almost 50% vaccinated. This at a time when the majority of the middle and lower income countries in Africa, Asia and Latin America have not yet received a single dose. The United Nations has called this phenomenon a result of vaccine nationalism, where countries with money and resources have, in competition with each other, signed pre-purchase agreements with the producers to secure as many doses as possible without thinking about its repercussion on the overall fight against the pandemic. According to various sources, some countries have bought more than the required number of vaccines. For example, Canada has enough doses to vaccinate its total population 5 times, the United Kingdom more than 3 times, and New Zealand more than twice. Responding to the rising vaccine inequality, allegations of vaccine nationalism and vaccine apartheid, followed by some countries such as Israel, the World Health Organization launched a global campaign last month to bring vaccine equity. In the statement issued on January 18th, the World Health Organization called on all countries to work together to make sure that within the first 100 days of the year 2021, all countries start vaccinating their health workers and vulnerable populations.
Many thanks to our international partners, the People's Dispatch. But let's do Sam Sport. And Ashanti Gold Sporting Club have terminated the contract of head coach Milovan Serkovic. The Serb initiated the move for the contract to be cancelled after more than 3 months in charge.
Milovan Serkovic was appointed in November and enjoyed an impressive start, which saw the Obuasi Bay side establish themselves as title contenders in the early stages of the season. However, a run of 6 games without victory sparked rumors of his immediate departure. Serkovic, who asked for a 2-week sick leave, was not in the dugout when the Miners stamped Aduana Stars by 4 unanswered goals in a league tie. The Serb supervised the Miners in the first 15 games of the season, but health problems forced him to relinquish his role as head coach of the club, a decision which compelled the team to terminate his contract. The Miners are currently 7th in the Ghana Premier League.
And American golfer Tiger Woods has been hospitalized with multiple leg injuries after his car sustained major damage in a car crash. The incident was confirmed in a statement released by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
According to the statement, police responded to a rollover traffic collision at approximately 7:12 a.m. The driver and sole occupant was identified as Professional Golfers Association golfer Eldrick Tiger Woods. The 45-year-old was extricated from the wreck with the jaws of life by Los Angeles County firefighters and paramedics, then transported to a local hospital by ambulance for his injuries. His agent, Matt Steinberg, also revealed that Woods had successfully undergone surgery for non-life-threatening injuries. Tiger Woods was in California for a 2-day concert shoot with Golf Digest / Golf TV after serving as host for the PGA Tour's Genesis Invitational over the weekend. Pictures of him surfaced on social media smiling with Wayne Wade and David Spade at Rolling Hills Country Club on Monday, but with his movement still restricted, he did not hit balls or play any holes. The shoot involved Woods giving on-course lessons to a number of celebrities, but he mostly provided instruction and hit a few putts. He was in good spirits, but did not arrive to the course for the second day of shooting. The American is a former world golf #1 with 15 major championship wins, most recently winning the 2019 Masters after a lengthy period out of form.
Right, that's all we have for you in sports. Entertainment news is up next. National Film Authority has set up a committee to come up with a brand name for Ghana's movie industry after several attempts by other stakeholders to decide on brand names such as Gollywood, Gallywood, Kumawood, among others. The NFA's newly constituted brand name committee is expected to bring closure to the matter.
Members of the brand name committee include Professor Audrey Gachekpo, Associate Professor, Department of Communication Studies, University of Ghana; Mr. Kwabena Jekum, Executive Director of Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana; Abe Kusego, actor; Mrs. Lauren Mana Abdallah, filmmaker; and Kofiche, filmmaker. The rest are Nakiat Dramani, poet; Frank Fifi Garbin, film director; and Leonard Atauge Kubalo, storyteller. Prior to the formation of the committee, the National Film Authority sought name suggestions from the general public. The authority disclosed on its Facebook page that over 400 submissions were received, adding that they are privileged to have the committee committed to narrowing down on the submitted names and eventually select a brand name to help promote the industry.
Right, that's all time will permit us here on the Midday News Bulletin. But before I leave you, let's do a recap of the headlines. And Ghana commemorates 55 years of the illegitimate overthrow of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And also, Ghana takes delivery of 600,000 doses of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines. And fisher folks at Jamestown unhappy with slow pace of construction of the new fishing harbour. They say their relocation is affecting fish catch. Well, as usual, I want to say thank you for spending 60 minutes of your afternoon with us here on Pan-African Television. My name is Makiza Micheline Latifa. Thank you so much for watching.